Can you beat Surgeon Simulator Experience Reality without using medical tools? While this kind of challenge video is insanely popular with Pokemon games right now, very few people do these for other games. I think that is a missed opportunity, seeing as there are many other games that could be beaten in weird or unintended ways, so I came up with a quick one as a proof of concept. The VR version of Surgeon Simulator is one of my favorite games, as evident by the fact that I've done speedruns of it and currently hold several of the world records on speedrun.com. But can you do all of these crazy operations without using the proper equipment? Here are the rules for this run. I can not use the tools suggested by the in-game how-to discs for each of the operations. I can also not use equipment that is clearly only for medical purposes, like scalpels or the electric bone saw. This includes the anti-bleeding injection, so no way of me stopping any bleeding. For the teeth transplant, I can also not use the power drill, even if that's not really the kind of drill you'd expect to see at a dentist's office. And as the game is glitchy without even trying to break it, glitches and exploits are fair play for this one. As this is a VR game and writing the script while playing would therefore not be practical, I for once write the script after I'm already done recording the footage. You can still go ahead and guess in the comments down below whether I can do this or not. Let's go. The first operation is the heart transplant. Normally you would remove the ribs with a bone saw, but we can't do that today. Instead, we extract the lungs through the rib cage, making sure that they don't get damaged in the subsequent removal of the rib cage. Now, the hammer would probably work for this task, but as many people use that as a default way of breaking the rib cage open anyway, I decided it's too close to a medical tool for my taste. So let's try breaking the bones with the power of music instead. Now, for cutting out the heart, we can't use a scalpel, so I decide a glass shard would probably be sharp enough to cut through blood vessels and break the conveniently placed beaker on the table. After finding one of the shards that seems sharp enough, I remove the esophagus since it's in the way and go ahead and cut the heart out. Put the new one in, and we have a successful transplanted heart without medical tools. Up next is the kidney transplant. First up, we need to get the intestines removed. This time, shards of a smaller beaker make for a good precision tool. So the large intestine gets cut out, the small intestine needs to be halved and severed from the stomach to come out, and the liver needs to also be ejected for now, since it's in the way. Then the kidneys are accessible and get removed and replaced with new ones. So far this seems very easy. Let's go for the brain transplant. Now this level has the additional difficulty of a blackout happening, so the headlamp is our only light source. After figuring out that polyethylene terephthalate is not hard enough to break bones, and removal of the brain via the ear with a plastic spoon failed as well, the radio is again our only way to get into the patient. One hit crushes the entire skull, giving us access to the brain. Now, for severing the old brain from the spinal cord, we need a cutting tool again. Although there are no beakers inside this time, the lid of the jar that holds the new brain is breakable and therefore a valid tool. The new brain goes in along with the jar, and another operation successful. Eye transplant time. I use the radio to remove the goggles and try my luck getting pens and pencils stuck in the old eyes to pull them out. This proves unsuccessful. Our old acquaintance, the glass shard, unfortunately only makes the patient bleed to death. Let's try that again. A pair of household scissors does indeed do what is usually done with the scalpel, but that's too close to a medical tool in my books, so I use the speedrun strat for this level and power drill the eyes out of their sockets. The severing of the eyes from their nerve and muscles can again be done by a glass shard or with the power drill. And the new eyes are popped in afterwards. Onwards to the last level in actual ER. The teeth transplant. A glass shard is used to remove the mask, and most of the tools at my disposal fail to knock out the bad teeth. That is until I decide the glass shard might work, and it does. Now for replacing the teeth. Normally you would do this by picking up a tooth with tweezers. But as those are the tools mentioned by the in-game tutorial disc, we can't use them. Instead, I tried just moving the tray that holds the teeth over the patient's mouth in hope that the teeth would pop in by themselves. This proves to be actually possible and concludes the last kind of transplant in the game. Now, of course, there are the ambulance and space levels for these same transplants, but they are for the most part carbon copies when it comes to how to beat them. So, quickfire overview of the differences. Ambulance heart. The ribcage gets removed with the monitor screen, and since there's no glass, the rib saw does the cutting of the blood vessels and esophagus. That is unmedical enough in my book. Ambulance kidneys. The rib saw is again the weapon of choice. Alternatively, the power drill could have been used, but that would probably result in higher blood loss and therefore a higher chance of death. Ambulance brain. Since apparently broken porcelain doesn't cut as well as glass, this was literally the same as in the ER. Ambulance eyes. Power drill strats are still the strats. Ambulance teeth. Remove the teeth with a precision tool like the heart monitor, and then the teeth are harder to put in due to bumpy roads, but it is still doable. Space heart. We air the lungs out in space, but otherwise do the same stuff as in the ER. Space kidneys. Shards are from a bigger beaker this time, but the strat remains unchanged. Space brain. This time we cut with a small beaker shard again, but otherwise no changes. And space ice, power drill, and eye container lid shards. And lastly, space teeth, glass shard for the mask, a broken mug for the teeth, and then it's incredibly hard to get those teeth to not fly off in 0G, but it's still possible to get them back in. So yes, you can beat all of these levels without proper medical tools. I'm looking forward to doing challenges on other games as well. Some of the ones I'm planning on doing might take forever to do, but I'm sure they'll turn out fun to watch in the end. Of course, the Pokemon challenges will still be coming out about once a month, and the cut down abridged playthroughs of games I just want to play through normally without challenges will still mostly have a similar post voiceover. Most probably, as it's easier to sum up stuff that way. I hope you all enjoy these videos as much as I do making them. Make sure to check out the rest of my channel if you liked this video, leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss another video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.